What if I told you there's a country where over 70% of people don't believe in God, but they still celebrate Christmas? Would that confuse you or intrigue you? Across the world, religion has shaped civilizations, built empires, and defined cultures. But something is changing. More and more countries are turning away from faith. Is this a sign of progress, a cultural revolution, or something far deeper? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear may challenge everything you thought you knew. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss this journey into the strangest, most surprising, and even shocking truths about the world's most atheist countries. 10. China, a nation without faith? China leads the world in non-religion. With estimates ranging from 52 to 61%, it has one of the highest secular populations on the planet. But don't think this is by accident. This is by design. Since 1949, the Chinese Communist Party has actively discouraged organized religion, seeing it as a threat to the state. But here's the real twist: China was never truly religious in the first place. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism shaped Chinese life not as strict faiths, but as philosophies. And yet, despite strict control, underground religious movements persist. Is this a contradiction, or is it a rebellion waiting to happen? 9. Japan, a land of temples. Without believers? Japan is a country filled with ancient temples, sacred shrines, and spiritual traditions. But here's the plot twist: 60 to 70% of Japanese people say they are not religious. How is that possible? Because in Japan, religion is not about belief, it's about ritual. Weddings are Shinto, funerals are Buddhist. But ask the average Japanese person if they believe in God. Most will say no. It's a country where spiritual customs thrive, yet religious devotion is nearly extinct. Is this proof that faith can survive without belief? Or is it the beginning of a future where religion becomes nothing more than a tradition? 8. Sweden, from church to secular stronghold. Once a deeply religious nation, Sweden is now one of the most secular countries in Europe. Over 60% of Swedes identify as non-religious. But the real question is, how did a country that was once so devoted change so drastically? The answer? Progress. Science, education, and a society that values personal freedom over dogma. And yet, religion isn't entirely gone. Swedes still celebrate Christmas and Easter, but now they do it without faith. A country that abandoned belief but kept the traditions. Could this be the future of religion? 7. Czech Republic, the heart of atheism in Europe. If you think Europe is still religious, think again. In the Czech Republic, over 70% of the population identifies as non-religious. That's not just a number, that's a revolution. Even before the communist era, Czechs were skeptical of the church. Today, many former places of worship have been turned into concert halls and cultural centers. Faith isn't just fading, it's being replaced. A society where religion has no place. Proof that a country can thrive without faith? 6. United Kingdom, a nation divided on faith. For centuries, religion was at the core of British identity. But today, more than 50% of Britons say they have no religion at all. Science, modern values, and cultural shifts have pulled the UK away from faith. And yet, the monarchy, the government, and many traditions are still tied to the Church of England. Will Britain ever fully let go? Or will tradition keep religion alive? 5. Belgium, where faith is losing ground. In Belgium, secularism isn't just growing, it's thriving. 35% of the population identifies as non-religious, embracing progressive values and personal freedom. Belgium was one of the first countries to legalize same-sex marriage and euthanasia, proving that its laws and society are moving toward rationality over religious doctrine. A nation where faith is still present, but its influence diminishing by the day? 4. Estonia, the least religious country in the world? Estonia has a staggering rate of non-religion. Over 50% of its people reject faith entirely. Decades of Soviet influence pushed religion to the margins, and unlike other nations, Estonia never brought it back. But here's the fascinating part. Despite abandoning traditional religion, Estonians still celebrate their ancient folklore and pagan traditions. A country that gave up on gods but held on to culture. Is this a glimpse of the world's future? 3. Australia. Faith on the decline. Australia is changing fast. With around 30% of its people now identifying as non-religious, the country is shifting towards secularism, diversity, and scientific thinking. And yet, religious communities still exist alongside some of the world's most active secular and humanist movements. The balance is shifting, but how much longer will faith hold on? 2. Norway. The fall of state religion. In 2017, Norway made history by officially separating the church and state. Since then, over 50% of Norwegians say they have no religion. A country once shaped by Christianity is now turning to humanism, rationality, and secular values. And while the Church of Norway still exists, its role, largely ceremonial, is Norway proof that religion is becoming a thing of the past? 1. Denmark, a happy, secular nation. Denmark is one of the happiest countries in the world. And guess what? Over 40% of Danes identify as non-religious. A country that values freedom, equality, and progress over religious influence. And yet, they still celebrate Christian holidays, but not as religious events as cultural traditions. So here's the ultimate question. Does Denmark prove that a nation can be both happy and godless? The world is changing. One by one, countries are turning away from religion. But what does this mean for the future? Will faith disappear entirely, or will it find a way to survive? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.